Good morning. I'm not gonna hold you a whole lot. This is the first day of the year, man. We're gonna, try to keep the momentum going. Today, I'm talking about just some of the difficulties I had, like okay, so when I was 19, my child was born when I was in DeKalb County Jail. So I was not there for her birth. And when I came home, she was 9 years old. And I know a lot of times, a lot of guys are dealing with trying to be fathers while they're incarcerated. It's damn near impossible, especially if you hadn't created a bond and you don't have some type of presence in this person's life. And I'm not gonna get real deep off into it because it could be broken down into many layers and many like elements. But I just remember, like, now my child is 25 years old. She's married. We have a adult relationship. We respect each other. She still got a room in my house. We've had our ups and downs, but tried and true, bro. She been like the person that really taught me how to be a dad, cause I didn't know. But one of the situations that took place, man, that really just like, I think the word is cringe. It's like it was a cringing moment, but it was real. And like when I first came home, I had a whole lot of like guilt on me because I was just like, man, like, this is my child and I have responsibility for this child, and I failed to protect her. I failed to like be there. And you can't if you're a man and you dealing with that situation, that's the realness of the situation. You brought a child into this world and then you dropped the ball. Like that's one of the worst things that I ever did in my life. Period. And with my child, like I had to earn the right to even be called. For years, she didn't even call me daddy. She would just, when I first came on, she actually called me by my name about 2 or 3 times. And me adjusting to society and trying to embrace fatherhood, like about the 3rd time she did it, I was like, we ain't doing this. I mean, I know I got work to put in, but you're not calling me by my first name. That is not what we're doing. So for years, when she used to talk to me, bro, she wouldn't say anything. She would just start the sentence off and start talking. And at some point in our relationship, she started calling me dad. And the first time she called me dad, man, I didn't cry in front of her, but when I got by myself, I called Aaron. I was like, bro, she called me daddy. Man, it felt so good. But when I said I had to put the work in, I had to put the work in. But that's what I was supposed to do from day one. And because I didn't know who I was and what I was going through, and I wasn't there to do what I needed to do. But one of the weirdest situations that we had, man, was like, okay, so I'm not gonna say nobody else's name, but her mama was with a dude, and because they all lived in the house together, like, she had a relationship with this dude. My child had a relationship with this dude. And so I couldn't knock that. All I could do is pay attention, adjust, and try to get in where I fit in. So every opportunity I had, I would try to do that. So like, when I came home, my child was in elementary school. So what I would do, man, from elementary school to middle school to high school, this Columbia Middle, this Columbia High School, I would drive from, if I was living in Conyers and my child was living in Decatur and her school was at Tony, I would drive from my house. Or if I was living in Stone Mountain, wherever I was living at, I would drive to her mama's house, pick her up in the morning, take her to school. When she got out of school, I would go pick her up. This is elementary, junior high, Columbia Middle School, and Columbia High School, until I started buying her cars in high school. I started buying her cars. So, man, did she drive? I think she did start driving that, or maybe that was college. I don't know, but at the end of high school, 11th, 12th grade, started getting cars and whatnot. But so at Tony Elementary, shout out to the principal, I forget his name, but he was a cool dude. He understood my situation, man, and he just always encouraged me to just like, you know, come through, man, be a man, stand on 10 toes. And he didn't have to do that. Like, he didn't have to help me out. And it wasn't like he just like did no extra stuff, bro. He was just like real positive. Like, every time I seen this dude, he was like real positive and real encouraging, man. I almost felt like he was my principal. That's a good dude, man. I cannot think of his name. He bought my book and everything, man. Like, my first book, he bought the book, but he was just like real encouraging, man. Like, all the time, bro. Like, never had no weird stuff to say. And at the time, I needed to be around men who had who operated from a position of strength. And he was one of them brothers, and we never had no real intimate conversation, but I would just see how he would move with the kids, man, and how he would move with the parents, man, and that's a good dude. But so lo and behold, Tony Elementary has a father-daughter dance. And so I'm nervous, but I'm like, man, let's do it. Mind you, if you know me, I ain't even no public dancer. Then I was like real secluded because I was still trying to figure out who I was as an individual, nevertheless as a father. But what I did know is that just show up. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna show up. So I showed up, me and Dayana, like, we had on formal wear. Like, I got on a suit and tie, she got on a dress. But I didn't bring her. She was brought by her mother's boyfriend. And he was a cool dude, I guess. What was evident is that they had a relationship because they lived in the same house together. But this nigga had, this dude had on blue jeans and a shirt. But that didn't even matter, man, because they was connecting. Like, they was dancing with each other and stuff. Like, they knew each other. And man, when I tell you like that, man, that thing dug my spirit, man. And it wasn't any hatred towards him, because he was just filling in the gap or doing what was natural to him. So ain't no disrespect to bro at all. Much respect to him. But as a father, seeing my only child at a father-daughter dance with another man, man, that thing hurt on the inside. That thing hurt on the inside, but I never let that deter me, man. I was like, man, what I said to myself is this: if you had set your little silly ass down and been here to handle your responsibility, you wouldn't have to worry about this. You violated the law, and they gave you time. You got to serve that time, and you missed out on your child's life. You missed that. So you got to deal with everything that come along with it. Everything that come along with that, I signed up for that. So this is not the best situation. It's not the best day, but what I vowed to do, I'm gonna learn from this situation, and I ain't letting up. If the father-daughter dance was on Friday, and even when we was there, it was awkward. And I know I went back into the story, but it was awkward because me and my child are so much alike when it comes to, like, we don't do a whole lot of faking. We don't do a whole lot of faking. Like, if I ain't feeling you, then I ain't feeling you. And I understood that, like, if you ain't been here and I don't have no rapport with you and I don't have no real relationship with you, ain't no pretending, man. There is no pretending. And I'm like that. I'm like that now. She like that now. So I had to put the work in. So back to what I was saying, like, I'm just keep showing up. So on Monday, I'm picking up, I'm trying to work on it, and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. By the time, I mean, we had ups and downs, but I would set my work schedule up to where, like, whatever I do, I gotta be able to pick my child up in the morning. And I gotta be able to pick up in the afternoon, because I need to talk to her before she go to school, and I need to be the person she talked to when she got to school. And then I know I can't make up for 9 years. I'm not trying to do that. But what I am doing is, from this day forward, we're gonna have some interaction. I'm gonna do the best that I possibly can, and that's all I can do. I can't go to the past. I can't do none of that stuff. I can't change none of that. But from this day forward, I can do, as a man, as a father, I can show up. And I actually call a whole bunch of people, man, because I didn't understand what fatherhood was about. I was like, I didn't know how to conduct myself. I didn't know, you know, especially when you're dealing with girls, and then I'm dealing with a child is so much like me. It's scary, because we'll be riding in the car and won't nobody say nothing. Won't nobody say nothing. And then you just had to really like warm up. But it wasn't no, she hadn't been prepped to fall in line. And I respect that. I respect that, because it is what it is, because you never know what people gonna be on, you know what I mean? I could have came out here and not tried to play my position. But the whole time I was locked up, for real, that's really what I was focused on. And I wouldn't have gave a damn if it would have took 30 more years. I was gonna try to figure that thing out. But I was calling my uncles. I was calling her uncles. I used to call John. I know John got caught. I'm like, man, this is a situation that then went on. Matter of fact, I called my daughter's mother's father. So my daughter's granddaddy on their side. Like, I was calling him. Hey man, I don't know what to do about this. Or I got into an argument with your daughter. And he would talk to me sometimes, but then I just had to understand, like you really, I'm calling you complaining about your child. Man, you can't call me and complain about my child. I don't want to hear that. But I just was reaching out to men that I knew that had substance and that I respected they way of fatherhood, or they had something that they could. I just didn't know, bro. I did not know what it took. And so I had to get in there and figure it out. And it took me like buying a whole bunch of stuff to figure it out that ain't, just because you buy a child something, that's not fatherhood, bro. You got to put no man hours in. And it's just that simple. You got to put no man hours in. I do remember one time, and it's no disrespect to her mama, because I love her to death, and she gave me something nobody could ever give me. But she and I used to get into these arguments, and because I would be walking real light, I was like, man, I know I done messed up. So I had a whole lot of guilt on me, a whole lot of guilt. And we'd be having these arguments. Now, after I just be like, you keep, and then I end up spazzing. When I spaz, I go. And then whenever we would get into an argument, it would be like a month before I would see my child again. She would like block me and all this stuff, so I couldn't see my child. And then, so what took place was, we might get into an argument, and then during the argument, she was just like, you know, I think I'm just gonna have you put on child support. I got 2 daughters, I ain't never been put on child support. I've been threatened a couple of times, but every time it used to come up, like, it scared the bejesus out of me, because she was just like, mind you, my child was 9 years old when I came home. And what she was telling me, she was just like, I'm gonna put your ass on child support, and then you're gonna have to pay 10 years of back pay. And then I had started doing the math on 10 years of back pay. I was like, man, I'm gonna be sick. And I had a homeboy who couldn't get his driver's license because he was behind on his child support. I was like, this thing gonna kill me, man. Like, so I would cop deuces. I would just be like, I'd be quiet for a couple of days, and then I'd just apologize. So I just got to a point where I was just like, with me, I'm kind of like, I got this guilt. I got you pregnant. I left you by yourself, so I deserve everything to come along with that. That's what my mindset was, and I couldn't think. I didn't have no other options. I couldn't think of nothing else. I was just like, man,